tracking a cold front that brings cooler air and showers. When you could see thunderstorms tonight.
Breaking news. North Carolina sues VinFast. Attorney General Jeff Jackson says the car maker didn't hold up their end of the deal. So let's take a deeper look at the VinFast saga and how we got here. And Benson's town manager resigns just days after an expletive-filled recording of him goes viral. How the mayor is responding. A state sues a car maker, relief from the drought, and the mayor of Benson talks about the town's money problems, doesn't use any bad words this time. We have so much to talk about tonight. We want you to join the conversation, too. Email 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. What parts of these stories are we missing here in the local news? Tell us what you want to see. What should we be talking about here at 7 o'clock? Pull out your phone. Let's be honest, you probably have it in your hand already. Let us know what you're thinking. First up, a long stretch of rainy days is on the way. Here is the forecast. Best chance of rain begins tonight after 8 o'clock, and then it's some spotty stuff for the next several days. And that's just what the doctor ordered. Because look at Falls Lake, looking more like Falls Pond. The lake is super dry right now. Water levels are very low, about 4 feet below normal. Let's go to Kat Campbell. This should be a little bit of help for the drought. I stress a little bit. It's just we need a lot more rain than we're getting, but this helps.
It does. And 2 to 3 inches of rain is still a lot of rain. It usually is, just not when you're talking about foot deficits in rainfall. Roxborough is seeing the rain right now. It came down pretty heavy for a good amount of time in Roxborough. Still a good amount of thunder and lightning left over. Granville County seeing widespread rain. You are happy if you live in Oxford, Henderson right now. And some more showers and storms starting to move into Chapel Hill. Jordan Lake will be next up. So here's the timing of these storms as they move to the east. It's been a while since we've been able to use the storm track tool here on the Dual Doppler 5000. 721 in Durham, Cary just after 8 o'clock. Holly Springs 820, Raleigh around 840. So this is going to be an evening nighttime event. We still can't rule out an isolated severe storm in our northern counties this evening. It's not a widespread risk, but we'll watch for strong winds. And the radar will remain active tonight on WRAL News at 11. So check in for an update before you head to bed, and I'll break down when and where we could see the showers and storms tomorrow.
All right, talk to you again soon. Thank you, Kat. Let's get to a breaking story today. North Carolina is suing electric car maker VinFast. This is that Vietnamese company that was going to set up shop in Chatham County, a big $4 billion facility employing more than 7,000 people. Everybody was very excited about this. The state gave VinFast $450 million worth of incentives to make all of this happen, to seal a deal. But according to Attorney General Jeff Jackson, VinFast is not holding up their end of it. He accuses VinFast of breaking their agreement with the state. He says if the company won't commit, then the state should preserve that site for future opportunity, for something else, for somebody else. WRL's Willie Danley is covering this story for us tonight, joins us in Chatham County. So, Willie, let's talk about it. If VinFast is indeed not coming, after all, first of all, what a huge bummer for the businesses in that area who were counting on this, all of those people, all of that industry.
Yes, Dan. I mean, a bummer is a bit of an understatement. There were a lot of people who live here in Chatham County that were looking to take advantage of the thousands of jobs that VinFast promised to create. But not only the people who live here, but the people who work here and own businesses here were hoping to cash in on the extra traffic that those jobs would bring to the area. You can see here in this video that Sky 5 captured, this is the site where VinFast planned to create that electric vehicle plant. But years after the agreement was reached, it's still sitting empty. VinFast agreed to build a multi-billion-dollar factory and create jobs for North Carolinians. Attorney General Jeff Jackson says it did neither of those things. I spoke to people who live and work in the area, and they told me that they were excited for the opportunities that VinFast promised to create for people who live here. They say they're still optimistic about this lawsuit and hope that another business can come to the area and stimulate the economy.
I think that the growth would be great. Like where I work, we would love to have more people show up here. And we're getting more and more all the time, and it's great for business. It's great for us. We meet all new people.
I have reached out to VinFast and officials here in Chatham County for a comment on the ongoing litigation. We are waiting on a response. Willie Danley, WRAL News, Pittsburgh.
All right, good stuff, Willie. Must be cold-blooded. It's 900 degrees outside. He's wearing a jacket. We'll check back with him on that later. Meantime, this lawsuit, it comes after years of delays from VinFast. To better understand why the state is filing this lawsuit today, why don't we take a look back at how we got here? Electric car maker VinFast first started considering North Carolina in 2021. They had their eyes on Triangle Innovation Point in Chatham County. In early 2022, executives flew to the area for an in-person visit. And just a couple months later, Governor Cooper made the announcement, $4 billion and potentially 7,500 jobs, a new facility ready to go by 2024.
We know this is ambitious, and I believe that they are ready to go.
It was such a big deal. WRAL even sent a reporter to Vietnam. We wanted to know what VinFast was all about.
Hello from Halong Bay, Vietnam. We are on a boat here in the bay with VinFast's leadership team. Right now we're inside the press shop here at a VinFast factory in Vietnam. This is where all the metal pieces, the aluminum, the steel that goes into making these cars.
In the summer of 2023, VinFast broke ground. There was a lot of excitement around this. The company even opened a dealership in Cary. But it was in 2024 when things took a turn. You see, the facility wasn't ready, not even close. Hardly anything changed at that site over 2 years. No buildings, just a bunch of dirt. VinFast announced they were scaling back the project from $4 billion to $1 billion and a new opening date of 2028. In late 2024, more problems. VinFast said it was having money issues, and they got $3 billion to try and fill that gap. Then, earlier this year, in March, it looked like VinFast found some momentum again. New filings show construction was set to restart, but that wasn't enough. Just 2 months later, the state is now suing VinFast, trying to get that land back, saying the company did not hold up their end of the bargain. And that's how we got here. Still, you might have questions about VinFast and the lawsuit filed against them. Email us 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Send us your questions, some of your feedback on this as well. Tell us what you think of our coverage. We'll talk about it right here at 7 o'clock. Now to a story happening right now at 7. The town manager in Benson resigning after a recording of him explaining the town's financial crisis in words not safe for TV goes viral. Brian Schrader in the Live Center. We're hearing from the mayor after a meeting tonight, Brian.
Indeed. The town manager, Daniel Rideout, tendered his resignation yesterday at lunch, and we're taking a live look right now at the Benson Town of Commissioners meeting where they are going to officially accept that resignation, according to the mayor. Yesterday, we told you about a video circulating online that involved an outburst during a staff meeting, and Rideout confirmed to WRAL News that it got heated during a department meeting about the budget. He did say that some parts of it appeared to have been edited and taken out of context. Tonight, Heidi Kirk talked with Mayor Max Rayner about the situation and asked him exactly why Rideout resigned.
He just felt pressure from the videos that are all popping everywhere, as far as I could tell. I really think he meant well. I don't think anything he did was malicious, but I can't say.
And of course, the context around all of this is that they are having some budget problems in the town of Benson. Rideout had said that the town was $2.75 million in debt. Well, tonight, Mayor Rayner told Heidi Kirk that it's not really debt, but rather $2.75 million in reserves that are not there. So we're hoping to get some clarity about that tonight. Heidi is in this room, and she will find out what they say coming up on our news tonight at 10 and 11.
All right. Thank you, Brian. I want to get you caught up in some of the other big headlines today with the 5 things you should know right now. Some devastating news, really devastating out of the racing world. NASCAR saying the 2-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch has died. He had been in the hospital with, quote, severe illness. That's all we knew. His family didn't say anything specific about what had happened. They also did not share exactly how he died. A statement from NASCAR reads in part, he was passionate, he was immensely skilled, and he cared deeply about the sport and fans. Busch leaves behind a wife and 2 children. He was only 41 years old. The grandson of Duke basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski is facing some more charges now after a deadly car crash. Joseph Savarino is accused of hitting Cardinal Gibbons student Jack O'Shea while he was riding an e-bike. O'Shea dying at the scene of that crash. Savarino is charged now with felony death by motor vehicle, involuntary manslaughter, and failure to reduce speed. A local police officer accused of shooting a man while trying to take him into custody is out on bond. Ricardo Anderson appeared in court today. He's an officer in the Harnett County town of Coates. Anderson is charged with assault with a deadly weapon following the shooting at a gas station in November. He posted bond and will be back in court next month. Triangle Town Center will now have off-duty Raleigh police officers on site there. The officers will be in addition to the other security officers at the mall. It comes after a shooting last month that injured 3 people, including 2 teenagers. It is the end of an era for NC State baseball. Elliott Avon is stepping down at the end of this season, marking the end of a historic 30-year tenure there. He notched 1,100 wins. That's the most in team history. He guided the Wolfpack to 3 College World Series appearances. Right now, State is waiting for the NCAA tournament selection show on Monday to find out if their season and Avon's run as a coach will continue, when and how. Still ahead, a new report says Democrats should look here at North Carolina when planning their moves for the next presidential election. I guess it makes sense. Josh Stein won, Kamala Harris lost. Both are Democrats. Let's look at why this consultant that the DNC hired thinks that Stein's campaign is a good blueprint for the next big race. Cap? The presidential election was almost 2 years ago, and Democrats are still trying to figure out what happened. The DNC hired a consultant, actually, to give them some suggestions for next time around. And the consultant's report says that the Democratic Party should look at North Carolina. So think about it, right? Kamala Harris lost here, but Josh Stein won. North Carolina picked one Democrat, but not the other. So what is Stein's secret sauce? Does he hold the key that Democrats could use to unlock some election wins in North Carolina? Or should they consider something else? I spoke with WRAL state government reporter Will Doran. So, Will, let's talk about this report. You read through it. Where does it say Democrats have room to improve?
Well, really across the board, Dan. I mean, and look at Kamala Harris's campaign. She lost every single swing state in 2024. And what it really said is that her campaign was just seen as too far left, kind of for middle America, that she was focused on not the kitchen table issues, especially economically, like inflation, that Donald Trump was, and that it had, hurt Democrats in other races, too, across the country.
And North Carolina has to be kind of an interesting case study for them because North Carolina voted for Trump, a Republican, for president, but Josh Stein, a Democrat, for governor. 2 state races where everybody's vote counts, and they went 2 different directions.
Not just an interesting case study, but really this report suggests Stein's campaign in North Carolina as sort of the model for national Democrats to copy as they move forward, as they try to win back control of Congress, win back control of the White House. It says, hey, look at this guy Stein in North Carolina. He did way better than Kamala Harris, basically any way you slice the numbers. Better with men, better with rural voters, better in the suburbs. And this is, someone who we should be looking at as we try to figure out how we as a party, the Democrats, can take their way back in the national stage.
Let's look back there and be fair here. He ran against a historically bad candidate. Mark Robinson was controversy after controversy, shooting himself in the foot all the way to the very end. Is that part of the equation? Because it certainly did weigh into the way Josh Stein won.
Absolutely. The report doesn't ignore those scandals that Mark Robinson faced. And, obviously, Democrats aren't going to get an opponent like Mark Robinson in every single race. But at the same time, Mark Robinson did raise a historical amount of money, record-breaking here in North Carolina for a Republican. He really energized the GOP base. But Stein was still able to make some inroads in historically conservative areas, and the report says it was because he didn't focus on identity politics like some of the national campaigns did. He focused more on issues like the opioid epidemic, issues like affordability, and it said those are the sorts of things that Democrats need to be focused on in the future, not the identity politics.
We talk so much about the changing landscape of North Carolina, and it's interesting to see how that's being perceived nationally when it comes to politics across the country.
Yeah, Dan, growth is not a zero-sum game. And so the way that Congress works, the way the Electoral College works, is that, as North Carolina grows, as states like Texas and Florida grow, those states all get more political power. And the states that are losing people, losing political power, are Democratic strongholds like California, Illinois, New York, Minnesota. Places like that are all expected to lose power after the 2030 census. These southern states, like North Carolina, are going to be gaining power after that census. And so it just adds urgency to this for the Democratic Party to figure out how they can win here and in similar states.
Very interesting. Thank you, Will.
Thanks.
Now, we have covered the 2024 election at length here on WRAL News at 7 o'clock. We've gone in depth talking about how we probably could have predicted the results well before Election Day. You can find those segments on the WRAL YouTube page. Just search 2024 election. What else do you want to know about this story? It's interesting political stuff. Do you have any questions about the 2024 election or moving forward? Maybe you're kind of over the whole thing. I'd understand that too. Email 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Let us know what you want us to talk about here at 7 o'clock. Kat?
We've got rain to talk about finally. And check this out, some cool clouds at RDU. You can tell storms are on the way. Things still good there right now at the airport, but here are the storms that are closing in on Durham first, and then of course the airport and Wake County will see this band of some heavy rain arrive next. These are still scattered and they're slow movers. The upside to that is they're able to dump a lot of heavy rain. The downside is they'll just take a little while to arrive. Let's zoom in on some of the areas seeing the heaviest rain right now. Henderson, Oxford seeing decent rainfall. Roxborough, the rain's lightening up a little bit. Jordan Lake's about to get a pretty hefty dose of rainfall. We don't have the heaviest rain at this point headed toward Falls Lake, but there is an outflow boundary nearby, and that may spark some heavier rain that could help things out for us at Falls Lake. Around the Sandhills, not as much action in our southern counties, and you really may not see a whole lot until tomorrow evening in the southern part of our viewing area. That's why we have a 60% chance of rain and storms tonight. It's not uniform for everyone, but we're going to see these decent rain chances stick around for several days. The locations will bounce around our viewing area, and in the end, we'll all get some good rainfall. So here's what we're looking at for the remainder of tonight. These storms remain scattered and they'll stick around overnight. There could be a little bit of rain when you wake up tomorrow morning, and then we'll watch for some showers and storms to redevelop tomorrow evening. I actually think coverage is going to be better than what Futurecast is showing here, but the general gist of storms arriving in our southern counties and tracking to the north is my current thinking. For tomorrow, temperatures are tricky. We have what's called cold air damming setting up across North Carolina, and this is going to lead to a pretty big difference in temperatures from the mid-60s to the mid-80s. We're going to be right in the middle of that here in the triangle, so we'll likely reach the 70s for highs. The exact number really tricky because even across Wake County, there could be a pretty big difference in temperatures. A little bit of good news here on this Thursday evening, Friday Eve, you could say, below normal season likely.
Our one last thing. Look, you know those articles out there that'll say stuff like top Halloween candies by state or each state's favorite movie. Well, there's a new one out that got our attention today. The most misspelled words in North Carolina. A website called unscrambler.com did some research on this. And since I can spell, I'm terrible at it, I thought, let's take a look. And apparently in North Carolina, spaghetti was the toughest word to spell. Yeah, spaghetti. So our Ashley Rowe walked around the WRAL gardens to see if people could spell it in a new episode of Garden Talk.
So this study found spaghetti is the most misspelled word in North Carolina. I get it, that H is sneaky. So let's go find some people and put them to the test. Excuse me, ladies. What do you think? Okay, all right, let's go. What do you think?
Okay, S-P-A-G-H-E-T-T-I.
Woo! Okay!
Hey! You got it for me. I made her.
All right, we got 1 for 1. Let's see who else wants to play this game.
S-P-A-G-H-E-T-T-I.
We got it. Let's go. Oh, it's hot out. You want to give it I mean, you're a graduate, so let's go. All right, let's give it a go.
Okay, S-P-A-G-H-E-T-T-I.
Oh, there's no wonder you graduated. Thank you so much. And congratulations. Thanks, guys. All right. Not too many people out here today because it is, well, 90 degrees. But we've got some good spellers here at the WRAL Azalea Gardens. And in case you're wondering, some of the other most misspelled words in North Carolina, favorite and through. Across America, the most misspelled word, bougie. It's hot out here. I gotta go inside.
Can't spell bougie but you can be bougie out in the gardens. All right, let's do some quick feedback from some of you watching at home tonight. This one's coming from Nicholas. He wrote in and said, the money problem at VinFast, likely for more than one thing, but I'm curious if eliminating EV tax credits was the last nail in the coffin. So it's true that the EV tax credits are gone, but technically VinFast did not qualify for those credits because their cars are made overseas, but they were trying to make their cars here in North Carolina. So I guess the credits would have been helpful, but it's hard to say if getting rid of them played a major role in the delays, especially when you consider that the issues they were dealing with weren't just here in North Carolina. It's kind of a company global issue in the tune of billions of dollars. So keep those emails coming, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Great to have you with us tonight and every night. Keep sending those emails and we'll keep covering the news you want to see. Have a good one. We'll see you back here tomorrow.